go to the next one. Remember Nala Ray? Nala Ray. I'll play the video of her. We played her on this show a while back, and this was her.
Yeah.
You claimed that you had a thing for cheating.
Yeah, I knew that was going to get brought up. I haven't helped anyone cheat recently. It is a fantasy. You know what I mean? Like, it's the compromise that you make in that sexual act is hot to me. So
wait, sorry. You said help people cheating?
So like if they have a partner and I'm single and we have sex, for me, if you made that decision and you're in the relationship, I don't push anyone to do anything. But if you want to have sex with me and you keep pushing, that's on you.
Wait, I thought you said you liked to
and
cheat
also,
on your partners.
I did. I really did. Because they hurt me, you know? And I was like, you know what? This is hot. I'm gonna cheat on you.
Why don't you just break up with them?
Yeah.
Like, because I need the satisfaction that I want.
So that's what a sociopath looks like, for those of you that were wondering. So she's since become a born-again Christian. She was the daughter of a pastor, but she's since become a born-again Christian. And there is a lot of controversy around her naturally. All of her content is, obviously she's taken all the porn stuff down, deleted the account or whatever. All of the content is now centered around her becoming a Christian. And this is the clip. She went back on the Whatever podcast, which we're not huge fans of. We'll play it when it's relevant culturally. Went back on. It was like a 4-hour debate with Andrew Wilson. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But here's what she had to say then.
As a viral creator I went on so many podcasts because I knew the only way to grow my was to be viral, and it's such an oversaturated platform right now, and I've been on it for like 5.5 years. So everything I've said on podcasts is complete clickbait. I did it to go viral to then make money, and it worked. I said whatever I needed to because I understand the male brain, and I needed to make money, and I was like,
wait,
I
so
got taken down.
You lied about everything.
Yeah, pretty much.
So there's a couple schools of thought here. Now, to be fair to her, she was talking about her time as an OnlyFans content creator, where she was lying about things to make money. But we have to look at patterns with human beings. She's telling you right there she has no problem, or at least at one point had no problem lying, and I quote, about everything, end quote, to make money. We have to wonder, is she legitimate? Or I'm not saying we have to wonder, but I would not fault anyone for wondering, is she being serious in her faith, or is it her next grift? Because she's already told you she has no problem lying to make money off of people. And her new husband, fucking simp, whatever, are selling Christian-based t-shirts and all their sweatshirts, whatever, merchandise, which I don't have a problem with selling merch. That's one thing. My problem with her is she's also pushing crypto on her Instagram story, which if a celebrity or influencer is telling you to buy crypto, don't. They're trying to get their following to buy it up so they can short it because they bought it at a really low price. Here's what I'm going to tell you about Nala Ray. My opinion on it that I haven't heard anyone say yet. I've heard a lot of people take really harsh stances both ways, defending her or attacking her. Here's what I'll tell you. I don't believe it is our responsibility as Christians to decide whether or not somebody is genuine in their faith or grifting and trying to get money, trying to obtain some level of fame or whatever. That is not up to us to decide. So I won't tell you how I feel about her and whether or not I think she's legitimate. I can see why people have concerns. I'll leave it at that. There's one guy who gets to decide whether or not she was genuine in her faith and just misguided with good intentions, or if she was running a con to make money off of people. One guy who gets to decide that, and let's just say he's got a little bit more sway publicly than that space with Caleb Salvatore does. Leave it at that. Now, with that said, here is my issue with her, and I'm not speculating on whether or not she's legitimate. My issue with her is how quick the turnaround happened. She went from that first video you saw to born again Christian and we talked about her turning around. And I genuinely wish the best for her and any other former, prostitute or OnlyFans porn star, whatever, that wants to turn their life around. Genuinely hope you turn your life around. My problem with her is she went from porn content creator to Christian content creator in about a week. All of a sudden, she had been baptized and changed her life in less than a month. Now, had she disappeared for a year or so, come back, said, hey, I've undergone this huge change. I was so wrong. That would be a different story. But it went from porn content to Christian content like that. And that is not a good look. It's not a good look for her. It's not a good look for Christianity. And again, I'm not saying that she has ill intentions, because you have to realize she comes from a place of content creation and in social media influence. So there's a good possibility that this is just all she knows how to do. And well, this is my new thing, so I'm going to pivot to that. And that's all I'm going to do. Like, there's a possibility of that, right? And I'm not going to say, oh, she has to give the money back. No, dude, money made, it is what it is, right? I've probably got no comment on money I've made a long time ago, but like, I've made money gambling and doing things that are less than approved in mainstream Christianity, and I'm not gonna take account of all of that. And who do I write checks? It is what it is, man. Money's money. You gotta pay the bills, right? But my problem with her is, if you watch this debate, and we're not going to play it, but if you watch this debate on the Whatever podcast, my problem with her is that she sounds like a fucking idiot. She is not a good spokesperson, genuine or not, for Christianity. It is a bad look because she is uneducated. And the problem with people who are uneducated that want to go shooting their mouth off on subjects like that is that when they get into a discussion with someone who has the opposite viewpoint of them, so an atheist for instance, and you have people from both sides watching, and you're a big name, you're one of the biggest names in Christianity right now on the internet, whether you like it or not. She is one of the biggest names affiliated with Christianity online right now. She's no Cliff and Stu Connectley, but she still is. That's one of the names that people talk about. It is what it is. The moment she gets into a debate with somebody from the other side and folks that are on the fence are watching, she is going to get humiliated because she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. Again, nothing against her. It's called a love at first sight Christian. We've all been there and done it. The problem is she's not approaching it from a theological perspective. She's approaching it from it's a very juvenile and surface level understanding of Christianity. God saved me, and it's just all about positivity and being nice. Like it's like the strip mall preachers. Like, you see those churches pop up all over the place in strip malls. It's like that. Oh, God saved you, and you can just do whatever you want, and you can interpret the Bible to mean whatever the hell you want. That's not what it means, man. There's rules to it. When I went back to God, and that took me a long time because I was raised non-denominational Christian, but church hopping my whole childhood, stopped going when I was a teenager, totally had left the religion in my early 20s, and found my way back, which I think is the best way for anybody, if you want me to be perfectly honest. When I started going to a church, I went to a Catholic church, and I still go, same one. I had spent a lot of my life, even as a Christian, making fun of Catholics with the scandals and all the structure. And I learned that a lot of the rumors and stereotypes about the Catholic Church were bullshit. So I went to a Catholic church because number one, I'm a person who needs structure. As you can see, I'm a little chaotic, scatterbrained, and I needed structure. Number one. Number two, the more you look into Christianity, the more you realize, oh, there's more to it than just feel good yogi bullshit. That's what separates it from the crystal girls down the street. That's the difference, is there's actual structure to it. There's evidence. There's lifestyle changes and rules you need to follow. It's not just, I get to take this in whatever context I want. There's agreed upon, there's thousands of years of debate and agreed upon context stuff that I won't even talk about for the reason I'm shitting on her, which is that I am uneducated on it. I don't know enough to engage in religious debates. We talk about political stuff and social commentary on this show. 99% of the time, you will see me make a secular argument on that subject. Not because I'm an atheist, I'm not. But because I understand what my target audience is. We're trying to make political change, social change, not religious change. Now, there are Christian values in almost all of the political and social changes that we're trying to instill on this show. But we're not going to attack it from a Christian standpoint. There's two reasons I don't do that. Number one, because when you push politics, whatever the issue is, abortion, taxes, economy, foreign policy, anything, from a religious standpoint, from a Christian standpoint, you are immediately limiting the amount of people who are going to take you seriously and maybe change their opinion on the issue. That could be atheists, Jews, Muslims, Hindus, whatever. Right? You're immediately limiting the scope of the people whose opinions you can change and then change policy. That's number one. The second reason I don't make religious arguments on this show very often is because I am not that well read on the subject. I'm not, and I'm willing to admit that. That's the difference between me and her. Now, I am going to, there's a reason we don't do Wednesday shows anymore is because I'm taking night classes to learn more about it. I'm trying to absorb as much information on Christianity as I can and Catholicism as a whole as I can. But I am uneducated on the subject, and if I open my mouth about it with someone who maybe they don't know a whole lot about it, but they know enough to make convincing arguments against it, or somebody who does know about it, I'm going to look like a dumbass. And I am not going to do, number one, myself any favors, but more importantly, Christianity any favors by being an ignorant spokesperson on its behalf. That's what she's doing right now, and she doesn't realize it. That's my problem with her, is she looks stupid, and she's turning people off. Sometimes there are things we feel very passionately about, and for whatever reason, whether it be we don't know enough about it, or we're not well read enough on it, or maybe it's that we just can't form for whatever reason, we can't relay a good message. We can't put together a good argument because maybe that's just not our skill set. That's okay. And sometimes the best thing you can do to help advance a cause you really, truly care about from the bottom of your heart is to shut the fuck up about it. And that's not what she's doing. She's going on the press tour, and every time she talks, she looks dumb. She sounds dumber every time she opens her mouth. And I'm not trying to just say this to be a jerk and bully her. I want the best for her. I genuinely hope she's coming from a true place, a sincere place. I hope she inspires others. I hope she raises awareness to the porn industry, and not just the women that are in it, but the men that they've victimized that are watching it 5, 6, 7 times a day, wasting money on it, ruining their sex drives on it. I hope she raises awareness to that. I do. If she's got to be out in the public sphere, I do hope she raises awareness to that. But right now, she is just not a good spokesperson for Christianity, and that's okay. You can talk about how faith stay in your wheelhouse. You can talk about how faith pulled you away from porn. Absolutely, do that. Talk about that, but do not make yourself a spokesperson for, I hate to tell you, something you just don't know as much about as you think you do. I mean, if you go watch this debate, it's her and her husband and a bunch of other people, and a guy named Andrew Wilson, who's an Orthodox Christian. This guy's not an atheist. And it becomes abundantly clear that her and her husband have very surface-level juvenile views of Christianity. And again, I'm not well read on it either, but the difference is I'm actually willing to admit that I don't know that much about it, and learn and ask people who do. And more importantly, deal with people who hold me accountable. Not people who say, Jesus loves you no matter what, so do whatever you want. Deal with people who are going to hold me accountable and make me a better Christian and a better man. So when she's on this debate, Her husband interjects, starts debating with Mr. Wilson. And you hear, this drives me nuts because this is the stereotypical Gen Z liberal female response in an argument. What they lack for in understanding of the issue, they make up for with arrogance. And that arrogance usually comes in the form of cackling whenever your opponent says something you don't know how to respond to. Because in their mind, and men have a different way of dealing with it, they'll get angry or they'll insult you or whatever, but the women will cackle and they'll get snotty. And the reason they'll do that is because they think in their mind, oh shit, he's got me. I don't know how to respond to this. So I'm just going to act arrogant and laugh at him and look down upon him. And maybe the audience will just see like a popularity aspect of it and go, oh, how could I associate with that guy? He's crazy. Laugh at him. The hot girl is laughing. And you see that all the time. When you see these liberal Gen Z females, these liberal Gen Z women will go on these shows and they will just laugh. They'll cackle like idiots at any time somebody makes a point that they don't know how to come up with a retort to. And she does that a lot. And the reality is, nobody with a brain finds that charming or convincing. You're turning people off. And fortunately, in this case, she's debating another Christian. So it's not as big of a deal. And that's a really productive debate because it exposes a lot of these New Age Christians that don't really know what they're talking about when they get up against someone who is well read on it. It tells you to be careful who you assign a lot of influence to. The girl is good at social media. It is what it is. Props to her. And I want to make this clear one more time. I don't have any reason to believe that she is grifting. I'm not going to tell you how I feel about it personally. I've seen no proof to point toward her being a grifter. No solid evidence to point really either way. And I genuinely wish the best for her and hope she keeps on this track. But she needs to shut up. She needs to shut up and listen. Learn from people who know more about this instead of acting arrogant and demeaning.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, be sure to click the link in the description to get the full episode on Rumble. If you prefer to listen along, you could actually get us on Spotify, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio. You can also go to www.outlawstreamers.com to learn more about not just my show, but tons of other great shows and all the exciting projects they have coming up. Follow my socials at Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram, at Caleb Salvatore Comedy on the Chinese Spy app that is TikTok, and be sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks, and we'll see you every Saturday for brand new episodes of That's Based. Peace.